We are back, and it's great to have Chris Doering with us. Chris, good to see you. Good to see everybody.
I know.
People are worried about Georgia. They have a lot of injuries. Nobody really knows exactly what the severity, what the availability. But what is your assessment of what we're hearing from Georgia's camp?
Well, first and foremost, I thought they were underranked when the AP poll came out earlier this week at 5. To me, with all the returners they had, I thought they should have been ranked higher than that. Now, with that being said, you look at some of the spots where we were most concerned about, being able to fill holes last year. 7 of their top defensive backs gone, 5 to the NFL, 2 transferred. You look at Tyke Smith coming in and hopefully shoring that part of the secondary up. His injury, with status now undetermined, is certainly a scary thing. And then on the offensive line, Erickson, the center, being out for an undetermined amount of time. Nothing more important than the center-quarterback exchange. So they definitely have some key pieces with Washington. A bunch of pass catchers now, including Pickens being out and Gilbert's status unclear. Burton and Jackson coming back from injuries. So it's it seems like the positions where they could least stand to have injuries have been exactly where they've sustained them so far.
So it's still 2 weeks away, and I don't think we know the answers, but where does that put them in this fairly important game?
I still, I think this game is nothing more than just a measuring stick for them. And we talked about the ability to have all your goals on the table, even if you go out and lose. And I think the only thing you want to avoid, obviously you want to win the football game. Just don't get blown out. A blowout could be detrimental. A blowout could be one of those situations where, Kirby can't coach in the big game, all these misnomers that people throw out there about him and that staff. But I think it's a situation where they've been pointing to this game for a long time, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we're seeing some of these injuries pile up. Maybe they've been grinding so much with the Tigers on the horizon that it's pushed a little bit too hard and fatigue is set in to some degree.
That's interesting. We just had a call from an Alabama fan, and yeah, we everyone knows about the story with Alabama. You know it as well or better than anyone, but what would you be concerned about as you look at this Alabama team? Because there are some unknowns.
Well, there's a lot of unknowns. I mean, the production that you lose offensively with Heisman-winning receiver, one of the X factors at the other receiver, a quarterback that was a record setter, maybe the best all-around back they've ever had, a couple offensive linemen. Oh, by the way, you're inserting a new offensive coordinator into the mix. Like, all of those things together are a little troubling. They've shown in the past that it doesn't really bother them, but I look at the schedule, having to play Miami in week number 1, having to go to Florida in week 3. There's, I live down in Gainesville. There's never been a more anticipated game in the Swamp than what we're talking about right now with Alabama coming to town. It's going to be off the chains there in Gainesville.
That would encompass a lot of big games.
There's been a lot of big games there, and I think probably some of it is just the thirst for those big games. There hasn't been a lot of those big games in recent years, and having Alabama on the schedule, it's a bullseye. Everybody looking forward to getting a chance to play against Alabama and see how you measure up, and Florida is certainly pointing to that one on the schedule.
And you know what's so interesting, Chris? We hear a lot, and this is from A&M fans, the A&M game later in the year. Not much conversation. Alabama fans just don't really look at anybody. But I'm not sure I've heard an Alabama fan call this program, measuring stick or not, this program, and say, man, I'm really worried about that game. It's just like another game.
Yeah, I don't know that they worry about anybody, like you said, but for Texas A&M, it's almost one of those things you're putting all of your eggs into the basket, and sometimes that can be dangerous. If you build it up too much, you're setting yourself up for a potential letdown. There's 11 other games on the schedule that you got to play. Obviously, that's the hurdle you have to get over, but Georgia has that same problem. There's a lot of other teams. Clemson had that problem for a while before being able to step past that. So this is obviously one that Jimbo Fisher has put up on the pedestal with the way he talked about it at SEC Media Days.
Well, let me stay close to home because you've really got my attention with this Florida game now. I mean, I knew it would be a big game, but what about the other side? Gators look like what to you?
Well, the defense can't be any worse, so I think that's a positive, right? I think they're going to be a lot better. They've got to improve on the defensive line. They got a couple transfers in from Auburn and Penn State, which should help there. In the secondary, I think Kyer Elam is one of the best corners right alongside Derek Stingley Jr., so I think you got some help there. But offensively, everybody's talking about Emory Jones. Is he the guy that's going to be able to replace Kyle Trask? You'll see a much more traditional Dan Mullen style of offense with the run game incorporated with the quarterback being involved there. Offensive line to me, Paul, I look at how poor they've been in run blocking. Certainly having a more mobile quarterback should help them out, but they've got to do better. That's one of the most talented running back rooms in the entire conference, if not the country. And so they've got to be a better balanced team this year.
Alabama plays Miami, which is a pretty good team. Gators play South Florida and Florida Atlantic. They're kind of working their way through the state. What are those games? What are they going to do for us?
I think it's perfect scheduling for Florida. You get a chance to play at home against the Florida Atlantic team that probably is not as dangerous as they were when Lane Kiffin was there. You get to go on a road against a non-conference opponent in a stadium that'll probably be largely filled with Gator fans anyway. So, and then you get your feet under you a little bit. And what better time to catch Alabama, especially in this situation, than week 3, first conference game of the season, where they're coming into probably one of the most hostile environments they'll play in all year.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.